The academy floated like a jewel in the dark vastness of space, a massive structure orbiting the twin suns of the planet Kalira. Ships of every shape and color docked along its massive ports, carrying students from countless worlds. Some were covered in scales, others shimmered with bioluminescence, and a few had shapes that made even the most imaginative humans gasp. It was a place where knowledge was universal, and curiosity ruled over fear. Yet today, a new arrival would change everything. No one knew much about the new student. All the academy had received was a short report. A human candidate enrolled through a special program, authorized by an interstellar coalition. There was no information about the student's background, skills, or even the reason they were wearing armor. When the news spread through the student quarters, it became the topic of every conversation. By the time the new student arrived at the main hall, the whispers had grown into a low murmur. The doors opened with a mechanical hiss, and a figure walked in. The armor was like nothing anyone had ever seen. It was sleek and dark, with faint lines glowing like circuits that pulsed softly with each movement. The surface reflected the light of the hall, making it difficult to distinguish the exact shape beneath. Some students froze in awe, while others nudged each other, exchanging speculative glances. "Is it an alien warrior?" one whispered. Another shook their head. "No human could wear that. Maybe it's a prototype from the military." The armored student moved with calm precision, their steps perfectly measured. Every eye in the room followed them as they walked down the central aisle, straight to the front of the hall. Teachers tried to mask their surprise. Even the academy's veteran staff had rarely seen anything so advanced. A few cautious students held their breath, waiting for the figure to speak, but no sound came. Finally, the student stopped in front of the main desk, standing silently. A soft hum came from the armor, and the lights on its surface pulsed in rhythm with the figure's heartbeat, or so it seemed. The principal, an ancient alien with translucent skin that shimmered like glass, stepped forward. "Welcome to the Interstellar Academy," the principal said, their voice calm, but resonating with authority. "We have heard much about you. Please, introduce yourself." The armored student lifted a hand and gave a small, precise bow. Then, to everyone's surprise, a clear, human voice spoke. "I am Alex Carter," the voice said, steady and confident. It was an accent unfamiliar to most, but it carried a tone of calm intelligence. "I am here to study, learn, and contribute." The hall fell silent. Humans had always been rare in this part of the galaxy, and a human in alien armor was unprecedented. The other students whispered again, now with a mixture of fascination and disbelief. After a few moments, the principal gestured for Alex to follow. Classes began shortly after, and it became immediately clear that the armor was not just for show. In physical training, Alex moved with precision and speed that no one could match. In simulations, every decision was flawless, as though they could predict outcomes before anyone else. Some students tried to challenge Alex, thinking perhaps the armor amplified abilities, but the student did not react aggressively. Instead, they demonstrated technique and strategy, winning every test not through force, but through intelligence. A small group of human students observed with keen interest. Among them was Maya, a bright and curious girl who had always dreamed of meeting someone extraordinary. She noticed the subtle ways Alex's behavior differed from what anyone expected. Despite the alien armor, there was hesitation before harming others, careful attention to fairness, and a quiet respect for life. Alex did not seek to dominate or intimidate. They simply excelled. During a lab experiment, Alex remained silent but attentive, working with precision that left even the professors impressed. When a complicated sequence of chemical reactions failed for others, Alex adjusted parameters and achieved perfect results. Yet even in success, there was humility. They never gloated, never looked down on classmates, and never drew attention to themselves beyond what was necessary. Whispers among students evolved into curiosity, and curiosity soon became speculation. Why did Alex wear armor at all? Was it for protection, concealment, or something else entirely? Students tried to provoke responses, joking or teasing, but Alex's calm demeanor never wavered. Some began to wonder if the student was hiding more than identity, perhaps secrets about their origin, their mission, or even their very abilities. Outside the classroom, life in the academy continued at its usual pace. Students trained in zero-gravity chambers, practiced diplomacy in simulated alien societies, and attended lectures on interstellar politics. Yet Alex's presence cast a subtle shadow of intrigue over everything. Even teachers found themselves watching more closely, intrigued by a human who could navigate alien culture, technology, and combat with such ease. One evening, Maya approached Alex in the dormitory corridor. "Can I ask something?" she said, trying to sound casual. Alex turned slowly, helmet retracting slightly to reveal only shadowed outlines. "Yes," the voice said. Calm, polite, non-threatening. "Why?" "The armor?" Maya asked, choosing her words carefully. "You don't seem like someone who needs protection." Alex paused. "It is part of my training," they said simply. "It allows me to interact safely while I learn. Some things are easier observed from within." Maya nodded, though she did not fully understand. She sensed there was more, something unspoken. But Alex smiled briefly, a small gesture, barely noticeable, and turned back to their studies. The days passed quickly. Alex's skills continued to shine. In strategy games, they outmaneuvered aliens with centuries of experience. In negotiations, they listened patiently and responded with insight. Even in physical combat, Alex displayed remarkable restraint, avoiding unnecessary force while achieving clear results. Students began to respect and admire the armored figure, though some still whispered theories about secret weapons, hidden powers, or undiscovered technology. It was during one history lecture that the first real connection began to form. The topic was interstellar alliances and human involvement. Alex's knowledge surprised even the teacher, who paused mid-lesson. "You seem very familiar with this," the teacher said. "I have studied," Alex replied simply. "I am eager to learn from all perspectives." A small cheer broke out among human students, and a few aliens glanced at each other, intrigued. The armored human was not just a mystery. They were also proving that humans could compete, adapt, and excel among the galaxy's most advanced civilizations. Late at night, when the academy was quiet, Alex would often walk alone to the observation deck. From there, they could see distant planets, stars, and the thin glow of nebulae. It was a peaceful moment, a rare pause in a life that had always been about preparation and expectation. Somewhere, Alex was more than armor and skill. They were human, learning about the universe and testing what humanity could achieve. By the end of the first week, a subtle shift had occurred. Students who were initially wary now approached Alex with questions and offers of friendship. Aliens who had assumed humans were weak or insignificant began to reconsider. Teachers discussed openly the potential of such a student, marveling at the possibilities. And throughout it all, Alex remained calm, focused, and mysterious, leaving everyone wondering what truths lay beneath the armor. It was clear to all who watched that the academy had gained more than a new student. It had gained a symbol of curiosity, intelligence, restraint, and resilience. A symbol of humanity's potential when faced with a universe that was vast, unknown, and often indifferent. And though no one could yet guess the full story, everyone knew that the armored human would leave a mark, one that would not be forgotten anytime soon. In the quiet corridors, late into the night, the hum of the armor softly echoed. It was a sound that promised discovery, challenge, and perhaps even inspiration. And, as the twin suns set beyond the distant horizon, one thing was certain. The arrival of Alex Carter had changed the academy forever. The days at the academy settled into a routine, but Alex Carter remained the center of attention. Even when classes seemed ordinary, there was an energy that followed them. The other students watched in awe as Alex's abilities became more apparent, revealing not just intelligence, but creativity, adaptability, and foresight. Every challenge in the academy, no matter how complex, was met with precision and calm, yet always with a sense of fairness that left everyone impressed. It began in the strategy simulation chamber. The room was a vast holographic field, capable of replicating any battlefield scenario from across the galaxy. Students from various species were divided into teams, and the objective was simple: outmaneuver the opposing force without causing unnecessary damage. Humans had a reputation for ingenuity, but often lacked the training of the older alien civilizations. Alex's arrival changed that perception. When Alex joined a mixed-species team, the other members assumed they would have to carry the human along. But Alex immediately took charge, not by dominance, but by suggestion and observation. They analyzed the terrain, studied the opponent's movements, and predicted possible strategies. Every recommendation Alex made was precise and effective. By the end of the simulation, the team had achieved victory not through brute force but through coordination and clever planning. Aliens who had once dismissed humans now regarded Alex with genuine curiosity. Questions began to flow. "How do you think so quickly?" asked a student with shimmering wings. "Humans are clever, but you," another said, shaking their tentacled head in disbelief. Alex responded calmly, explaining their reasoning step by step, making it easy for even the youngest students to follow. There was no arrogance in the explanation, only clarity and a desire to help others improve. Physical training revealed another layer of skill. The zero-gravity combat chamber was a place where students learned agility, reflexes, and adaptation. While some relied on strength or alien anatomy, Alex used anticipation and timing. They avoided unnecessary confrontation, moving with precision to deflect, dodge, or redirect attacks. What impressed the instructors most was not just the efficiency of their movements but the restraint. Alex never struck harder than needed, always seeking a solution without escalating violence. One day, during a sparring session, a more aggressive alien student attempted a risky maneuver to test Alex's limits. The armored human reacted instantly, countering with minimal effort and avoiding injury. The alien stumbled and almost fell, but Alex extended a hand to steady them. The gesture surprised everyone. The human could have easily dominated, yet instead showed empathy and sportsmanship. Whispers spread across the training floor. "They are not like other humans," one student said. Or maybe, "This is exactly what humanity is capable of." Academics were no different. Alex excelled in every subject, from xenobiology to advanced engineering. When a group project on interstellar travel presented difficulties, Alex proposed an innovative design using adaptive energy shields. The suggestion seemed simple, yet it solved multiple problems the alien students had been struggling with for weeks. The professors began to notice, discussing quietly how remarkable it was that a single human could integrate so seamlessly with alien knowledge while contributing fresh insights. Even with the attention and admiration, Alex remained humble. During a lecture on planetary ecosystems, a student asked a difficult question. Before anyone could answer, Alex stepped forward. "The key is understanding the balance of life forms, their interactions, and the energy cycles," they said. Then, with careful explanation, Alex illustrated how human methods of observation and experimentation could complement alien science. The students nodded in amazement, realizing that humans were capable of thinking in ways that were different but equally effective. It was during lunch that small but meaningful interactions occurred. Other students cautiously approached Alex, hoping to learn more or just to talk. Humans and aliens alike discovered that Alex could speak several languages fluently, switching between them effortlessly. What struck many, however, was how Alex listened more than they spoke. When someone shared a problem or a story, Alex responded thoughtfully, never interrupting, never dismissing. In a school filled with competition, this quiet attentiveness made the armored student seem even more extraordinary. Outside of lessons, the academy continued its routine of drills and exercises. One afternoon, a routine flight simulation turned chaotic. A sudden malfunction sent several drones off course, threatening the safety of the students piloting them. Panic spread, but Alex remained calm. Observing the situation quickly, they devised a plan, instructing the others on precise maneuvers to avoid collisions and complete the mission safely. Their leadership was efficient and measured, never allowing fear to dictate action. By the end of the exercise, the instructors were quietly impressed, and the students quietly grateful. Even in these successes, subtle clues hinted at the human beneath the armor. Alex showed concern when others struggled, stayed close to the injured, and celebrated small victories without seeking attention. The armor, which had initially seemed alien and intimidating, became almost invisible in the way Alex's personality shone through. A few curious students began to speculate that perhaps the armor was not a weapon at all, but a test, a way to allow the human to observe and integrate without being judged immediately. Late in the week, a minor accident occurred in the laboratory. A containment field failed, releasing a volatile chemical that could have caused severe harm. Without hesitation, Alex moved in, analyzing the field and using precise adjustments to stabilize it. Their actions saved the experiment, the equipment, and possibly lives. Students and instructors alike were astounded not just by the intelligence, but by the courage and decisiveness. Afterward, the group gathered in the common area. Students who had been rivals, aliens who had dismissed humans, and the human students themselves all looked at Alex with newfound respect. It was a moment of quiet realization. This human, hidden beneath layers of armor, was extraordinary not because of strength or power, but because of ingenuity, calmness, and empathy. Maya, the curious human student, approached Alex once again. "I don't understand," she said quietly. "How can one person do so much? How do you know what to do in every situation?" Alex smiled faintly under the armor. "I observe," they said simply. "I watch, I think, and I act when necessary. Sometimes, the best choice is patience. Sometimes, it is action. Both require the same skill. Understanding what is truly important." Maya nodded slowly. She felt a growing admiration not just for the skills, but for the character. "You make it look easy," she said. "It is never easy," Alex replied. "It only looks that way when you focus on what matters, not on fear or expectation." By the end of the week, whispers of admiration had spread through the academy. Humans were no longer just rare, they were a symbol of potential. Alex Carter, the armored student, had already begun to redefine what others expected of humanity. Aliens who had once doubted humans began to ask questions about training, ethics, and strategy. Curious to learn from someone who exemplified intelligence and moral judgment simultaneously. And yet, despite all the attention, Alex remained a mystery. The armor was never removed in public, and the reasons for it were still unclear. Some students speculated wildly. Was it to hide scars? To protect against unknown threats? Or to conceal identity for an important mission? The truth remained elusive, but the students' actions spoke louder than any speculation. Humanity was not just surviving among the stars, it was thriving, adapting, and teaching others how to do the same. One night, as the academy lights dimmed, Alex walked to the observation deck. The twin suns of Kalira had set, leaving the sky streaked with distant stars. Other students occasionally peeked from behind doors, curious yet respectful. Alex's helmet reflected the stars like a mirror, making it impossible to see their expression. But when they looked out at the galaxy, there was a calm determination, a quiet promise. This human had come not just to study, but to inspire, to prove, and to prepare. Maya joined them silently, standing a little apart. She did not need to speak. The silence was comfortable, a shared understanding that something extraordinary was unfolding. Alex did not need applause or acknowledgement. Their mission, whatever it was to observe, learn, and act with precision and care. And already, without revealing the full truth, they were changing the hearts and minds of everyone around them. It became increasingly clear to all who watched that Alex was not just another student. They were a catalyst, a living example of what humans could achieve when intelligence, empathy, and courage were combined. Their presence was a reminder that appearances could be deceiving, and that even the most unassuming human might carry the potential to astonish entire civilizations. As the first week ended, a quiet excitement lingered in the academy. Students whispered about upcoming challenges, competitions, and missions. Teachers discussed Alex's potential and debated how best to nurture such talent. And throughout it all, Alex moved with calm confidence, learning, observing, and excelling. The armored human had arrived as a mystery, but by now, everyone knew that the truth beneath the armor would be remarkable. It was only a matter of time before the full story came to light, a story that would stun the Academy and, perhaps, the galaxy itself. The Academy had settled into its usual rhythm, but the arrival of Alex Carter continued to ripple through every classroom, corridor, and training chamber. Despite the growing admiration, the mystery of the armor remained. Students and instructors alike speculated endlessly. Some believed the armor concealed alien technology. Others thought it hid physical mutations or secret weapons. Yet Alex remained calm, patient, and focused, never revealing more than necessary. The week began with a new challenge, a survival exercise in the Academy's artificial jungle. The environment was designed to test strategy, endurance, and cooperation. Groups of students were dropped into dense foliage, uneven terrain, and simulated hazards. The goal was simple: navigate to the extraction point using minimal resources while avoiding traps and challenges planted by the instructors. Alex's team included a mix of humans and aliens. From the start, the other members were wary. Would the human rely on luck? Would the armored figure dominate every decision? Alex simply observed, scanning the environment, noting patterns in the simulated hazards, and listening to the suggestions of their teammates. Then, quietly, they began to guide the team. "Watch the roots," Alex said, pointing to a tangled area of vegetation. "They're strong enough to trip us if we rush. Step lightly, and the path will be faster than climbing over the rocks." The aliens looked at each other in surprise. Most had expected orders, demands, or commands that carried authority by sheer presence. Instead, Alex's guidance was subtle, precise, and effective. The team moved forward carefully, avoiding several hidden traps. As the exercise continued, Alex's foresight became apparent. When a sudden simulated storm erupted, forcing students to find shelter, Alex suggested a path that minimized exposure while maximizing speed. When another group panicked after encountering an artificial predator, Alex calmly coordinated a defensive formation that allowed everyone to pass safely. By the time they reached the extraction point, the team was exhausted but unharmed. Instructors observing the exercise were amazed. Not only had Alex demonstrated skill and leadership, but they had also taught their team to work together, to trust one another, and to think critically under pressure. After the exercise, the students gathered in the common hall to discuss what had happened. Whispers of admiration grew louder, but so did curiosity. How could one human manage so much? How could they think of every possibility while remaining calm and compassionate? Maya approached Alex quietly, as they often did. "It's incredible," she said, her voice a mix of wonder and frustration. "You know exactly what to do in every situation. How do you do it?" Alex paused before answering, tilting their head slightly. "I don't know everything," they said. "I observe. I analyze. And I consider consequences. Most importantly, I pay attention to people. They often tell you more than the situation itself." Maya nodded slowly. She had learned this about humans before, but seeing it applied with such precision in a galaxy of alien minds was extraordinary. "You really are different," she said. Alex gave a small smile under the armor. "Perhaps," they said, "but difference is not weakness. Sometimes it is strength." The days passed, and small incidents began to reveal more about the person inside the armor. During a lab project, Alex noticed a younger alien student struggling with a delicate procedure. Instead of completing it themselves, they gently guided the student, explaining the principles without taking over. When the experiment succeeded, the student's eyes shone with pride. The room filled with murmurs of respect, not just for Alex, but for the example they set. Yet, despite all these signs of humanity, the armor remained. Some students speculated that it might conceal injuries, genetic modifications, or even advanced alien technology. The question gnawed at everyone: why hide, when the skills and character were already undeniable? The answer came unexpectedly. During a routine flight exercise, a sudden emergency occurred. A small shuttle carrying a group of students lost power in the Academy's gravity simulator. Panic erupted. Instructors tried to stabilize the situation, but the simulation's instability left little room for error. Without hesitation, Alex leaped into action. Using their knowledge of engineering, piloting, and human intuition, Alex quickly assessed the shuttle's systems. They coordinated with the stranded students, giving calm and precise instructions. The shuttle slowly regained stability. As the danger passed, everyone cheered, not just for the success, but for the courage displayed. Alex had risked much more than their reputation. They had acted decisively to protect others. After the exercise, some of the students gathered in a quiet courtyard, curiosity finally getting the better of caution. "I have to know," one alien student said, their voice trembling slightly. "Who are you? Really? Why the armor? Are you hiding something important?" Alex stood silently for a moment, considering the question. Finally, with deliberate movement, they reached up and unclasped the helmet. The crowd held its breath. Beneath the armor was a human face, calm, composed, and strikingly intelligent. Eyes, the color of a clear sky, looked at the students, meeting their gazes without hesitation. Gasps of astonishment filled the courtyard. Some students stumbled backward, unable to believe what they were seeing. Others simply froze, staring at the proof that a human had thrived among the galaxy's most advanced civilizations. Maya stepped forward, her voice trembling with emotion. You're human?" she asked. Alex nodded. "Yes," they said softly. "I am human. The armor was never meant to hide my humanity. It was meant to allow me to learn, observe, and adapt in an environment where humans are rare and often underestimated." The courtyard erupted in discussion. Aliens who had assumed humans were weak now saw proof of ingenuity, resilience, and adaptability. Humans who had been skeptical found pride and inspiration. The armored figure was not a threat, it was a symbol of what humanity could accomplish when intelligence, empathy, and courage combined. Alex raised a hand, silencing the chatter. "I did not wear the armor to impress or deceive," they said. "I wore it to survive long enough to prove what humans can do when faced with challenge, uncertainty, and skepticism. And now, perhaps, it is time to learn together, without barriers." Students nodded, awe still shining in their eyes. The revelation changed the way everyone viewed Alex. And more importantly, how they viewed humans. It was no longer a question of power, technology, or alien advantage. Humans had arrived not to compete with strength, but to lead through creativity, understanding, and moral judgment. The Academy began to notice subtle but profound changes. Students worked together more, combining human ingenuity with alien experience. Instructors observed strategies that relied not on brute force, but on cooperation and foresight. Alex became a bridge, a symbol of unity and diversity, demonstrating that humanity could excel without dominating, inspire without demanding, and succeed through intellect and compassion. Late that evening, as the twin suns set beyond the Academy's observation decks, Alex stood once more looking at the stars. Maya joined them silently. "You really are incredible," she said quietly, "not because of the armor, but because of who you are." Alex gave a small smile. "It is not about being incredible," they said. "It is about doing what is right, learning, and helping others do the same." Strength comes from understanding, not from weapons or armor. Maya nodded, inspired. And you've shown everyone here what humans are capable of, she said. Yes, Alex replied, their voice calm and steady. But there is still much to learn, and much to do. The galaxy is vast, and the challenges are endless. We cannot stop here. And so, the Academy changed. Where doubt had once lingered, curiosity now thrived. Where suspicion had existed, respect began to grow. And throughout it all, Alex Carter, the human who had arrived in alien armor, became not just a student, but a leader, a teacher, and an example of humanity's potential. Every challenge that remained, the simulations, the exercises, the missions, would now be faced with a new perspective. Humans were not weak, not insignificant, and not to be underestimated. They were creative, resilient, and capable of extraordinary insight. And the armored human, now unmasked, was proof of it. As the Academy's lights dimmed and students retired to their quarters, quiet excitement lingered. The full truth had been revealed. But the journey was far from over. Alex's presence promised new discoveries, new collaborations, and a future where humans would no longer be seen as rare curiosities, but as invaluable members of a galaxy teeming with life, knowledge, and endless possibility. The stars outside the observation deck shimmered, endless and untamed. Alex stood among them, calm, composed, and ready. The armor was gone, but the impact remained. Humanity's legacy, in the form of a single human's courage, intelligence, and empathy, had begun, and it would echo far beyond the walls of the Academy, inspiring generations yet to come. The Academy had never been the same since Alex Carter revealed the truth beneath the armor. Students from every species walked the halls with a new sense of curiosity and respect. Humans were no longer rare observers or timid outsiders. They were collaborators, thinkers, and innovators. And Alex, now fully unmasked, became a symbol of what humanity could accomplish in the galaxy: courage, intelligence, and empathy combined. The new challenge arrived quietly, as challenges often did in the Academy. A simulation had been announced, a mission designed to test leadership, strategy, and cooperation under conditions of extreme uncertainty. It was a joint operation, requiring mixed teams of humans and aliens to navigate a dense asteroid field, retrieve critical supplies, and return safely without triggering the defensive systems scattered across the terrain. It was difficult, precise, and dangerous, but also perfect for demonstrating what the students had learned. Alex was selected to lead a team consisting of humans, winged aliens, and a small group of amphibious beings. At first, there was hesitation. Could a human truly guide such a diverse group effectively? Could they balance the different strengths, instincts, and thought processes? But Alex spoke with calm authority, outlining the plan step by step. The team listened, not out of fear or obligation, but because Alex had earned their trust. Watch for debris clusters, Alex instructed. They move unpredictably, fly in formation, maintain communication, and adapt to sudden changes. Remember, speed is important, but safety comes first. The team moved into the simulation. Alex's strategies were precise yet flexible, allowing each member to use their unique abilities. The winged aliens provided aerial observation, scanning for obstacles and threats. The amphibious beings, surprisingly agile in zero-gravity environments, navigated narrow passages with ease. Humans, including Maya, applied logic and rapid problem-solving to reroute around hazards. Every instruction from Alex was a suggestion, never a command, yet the team moved as one. As they advanced, unexpected complications arose. A rogue asteroid shifted suddenly, blocking the path. Some members panicked, unsure how to proceed. Alex remained calm. Divide the team into two groups, they said. One clears debris manually. The other provides cover and monitors sensors. Communicate constantly. The team followed, executing the plan flawlessly. It was a combination of human creativity, alien instinct, and cooperative effort. And Alex's leadership was the key. Slowly, steadily, they navigated the field, retrieved the supplies, and returned safely. Instructors and observers recorded every detail, noting the precision, coordination, and ingenuity displayed. When the simulation ended, the team gathered in the debriefing hall. Applause filled the room, not for Alex alone, but for the collective effort they had inspired. One alien student approached, shaking their head in amazement. "I never imagined humans could lead so effectively," they said. "You've taught us something we will not forget." Alex nodded. "It was not about leadership alone," they said. "It was about understanding each other, combining strengths, and solving problems together. That is how progress happens, not by dominating, but by collaborating." The praise spread quickly. Across the academy, students discussed the simulation in hushed tones, sharing stories of Alex's calm decisiveness, insight, and subtle guidance. Where fear or doubt had existed before, respect and admiration now flourished. Humanity had proven, not just by intellect, but by character, that it could thrive and inspire in a galaxy of diverse beings. That evening, as students gathered in common areas, Alex walked quietly through the hallways. They stopped often to speak with students who were struggling, offering encouragement and practical advice. In the library, they guided a group of young humans attempting a complex engineering project. Outside, they showed winged aliens how to adjust flight patterns for energy efficiency. Every interaction was subtle but meaningful, leaving others feeling capable, inspired, and supported. Maya followed at a distance, observing quietly. She marveled at how Alex had changed the academy, not through power or fear, but through example. "You've done more than anyone expected," she whispered when they walked together. "The academy is different now." Alex smiled gently. "It is not me," they said. "It is what we all can do together. When humans and aliens learn from one another, the galaxy becomes stronger." That is the truth I wanted to show. The following week brought a surprise challenge. A live simulation involving a distress signal from a remote colony. The scenario tested problem-solving under stress, with limited resources and time constraints. Alex's team volunteered immediately, confident in their combined skills. Upon arrival in the simulated colony, the situation appeared chaotic. Supplies were scattered, energy fields flickered, and environmental hazards threatened the inhabitants. Some alien students panicked, assuming the mission was beyond their abilities. Alex moved calmly, assigning tasks based on strengths. "Winged students, secure the perimeter and monitor the skies," Alex instructed. "Amphibious students, stabilize the energy fields. Humans, including Maya, analyze the systems and find alternative power sources. I will coordinate and assist wherever needed." The plan worked. Each member of the team contributed, guided by Alex's clear, thoughtful instructions. No one acted out of fear or impatience. Hazards were neutralized efficiently, supplies restored, and the colony stabilized. What stood out was not just success, but how Alex empowered everyone around them to excel. After the simulation, the instructors debriefed the students. "This was extraordinary," the chief instructor said. "Not only was the mission successful, but it demonstrated leadership, collaboration, and ingenuity at the highest level. Alex Carter, you have shown humanity's potential and reminded all of us that character matters as much as skill." The students' applause was deafening. Humans and aliens alike recognized the lesson. Intelligence, empathy, and courage could overcome fear, distrust, and adversity. Alex's presence had transformed the academy, proving that humans were not only capable but inspiring. In the quiet moments afterward, Alex walked with Maya to the observation deck. The twin suns had set, leaving stars scattered across the sky like diamonds. "Do you ever worry," Maya asked softly, "that people will expect too much from you?" Alex looked out at the stars, calm and thoughtful. "I do not focus on expectations," they said. "I focus on what is right. When we help others learn, When we act with intelligence and empathy, the results will follow. That is enough. Maya nodded. And you've inspired all of us. Yes, Alex said, but inspiration is only meaningful if it leads to action. If humans and aliens work together, learn together, and respect each other, the galaxy becomes a better place. That is the real goal. Over the next few weeks, the Academy saw a shift in culture. Collaborative projects increased, rivalries softened, and the attitude toward humans changed permanently. Other students began to emulate Alex's calm observation, careful planning, and consideration for others. Where before humans had been underestimated, they were now recognized as leaders, innovators, and thinkers who could inspire cooperation among species. The final event of the term arrived, a mixed-species mission simulation combining everything the students had learned. Alex led their team confidently, coordinating each member with precision. Challenges came in waves. Unpredictable terrain, malfunctioning technology, and simulated environmental hazards. But Alex remained calm, guiding their team with clarity, patience, and encouragement. Every challenge was met not with force, but with creativity, foresight, and empathy. When the simulation ended, instructors, students, and observers alike erupted in praise. Alex's team had succeeded not just through skill, but through collaboration, strategy, and moral judgment. Humans had proven themselves as capable leaders, problem solvers, and inspirations. Alex Carter, once a mysterious figure in alien armor, had become a symbol of humanity's potential, a living example of what could be achieved when intelligence, courage, and empathy were combined. That evening, as the Academy celebrated, Alex and Maya stood on the observation deck once more. Below them, students mingled, shared stories, and laughed together. The Academy, once filled with doubt and skepticism, was now alive with curiosity, respect, and unity. You've changed everything, Maya said. Alex looked at the distant stars, calm and thoughtful. Perhaps, they said, but I have only shown what humans can do when they try. The real change comes from all of us working together. That is the legacy we must continue. The twin suns rose again, casting their light over the Academy. The stars sparkled beyond, endless and full of possibility. Alex Carter, no longer hidden, stood as a reminder that humanity was not just surviving among the stars, they were thriving, leading, and inspiring others to do the same. The armored human had revealed the truth, not only about themselves but about what humanity represented. Courage, intelligence, empathy, and the power to unite diverse beings through action and example. And as the galaxy continued its eternal journey, one thing was certain. Humanity's story, represented in the life and deeds of Alex Carter, was only just beginning.